You and I both know that this was going to happen, and this has been going on for a while now. Ever since the war started in Ukraine and Russia, back in February of 2022, if I'm not mistaken, there's been so many peace deals, well, what they say is peace deals, and it never works out. I said this in plenty of my other videos. And it's February 2026 right now. I think February 14th, 2026. So it's Valentine's Day today. And this war is still ongoing. Now, I will show you guys the article in this video. It's very, 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 very short. It's from CNN. There's a video to it, but I'm not going to play it because I did not want to get copyright or anything like that. But lately, if you guys don't know, Russia been amping up their strikes in Ukraine more and more, targeting civilian targets, their infrastructure, and their energy. Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, I think already been experiencing problems with their energy, or their power. Some areas in Kyiv, if not most of Kyiv, don't have power. They're relying on generators, I think, from other European countries. Now, I was wondering, why is why is Russia striking Ukraine even more and more and more, more often, even though they already was, but like they're making their strikes even more deadly. Let's put it like that. Well, and targeting civilians and stuff. Well, come to find out, well, my conclusion is it's February. He thinks he can get away with it because it's another year that the war's been going on, and he thinks he can do what he wants. He thinks he's unstoppable at this point. Even when the United States was sending weapons and stuff over there, NATO's been helping out, still helping out. He still thinks he's unstoppable. That's why he's ramping up his strikes with that's what I think. He's ramping up his strikes on Ukraine for, and he's trying to make the United States and NATO look weak because he thinks that we're probably backing back and stuff like that. Or he just wants the Ukrainian people to suffer. That's another reason. He probably can win this war. Most likely, he probably could win this war. We don't know what all Russia has stocked up and stuff like that. Not saying he will use a nuclear weapon on Ukraine, but he could if he feel like he's really unstoppable. I just want to say this. Who knows? If he actually used a nuclear weapon on Ukraine, he might just think and use one on, just say, Poland, Lithuania, Estonia, or countries like that. Or he could send a few nuclear weapons here to the United States. That's a very low chance that I think that's going to happen. But you just don't want to rule nothing else because Russia already showed how evil they can be. And we already know they got China on their side. They got, I think, Iran on their side. They got a few countries on their side that is their enemies. You know the situation that went on in Venezuela. The United States attacked Venezuela, captured their president and his wife, flew back to New York. He was charged and all the other stuff. He pleaded not guilty or something like that, which we knew was going to happen too. But at the end of the day, we have our own issues here already in the United States with ICE, this Nancy situation that's been going on lately. We have issues with Canada. We've been having issues with Canada, mainly ever since the tariff situation and our president trying to make, if I'm not mistaken, our president was trying to make Canada the 51st state. I already knew that wasn't going to work out, but who knows? He was trying to probably make Canada the 51st state, Mexico the 52nd state, Greenland the 53rd state. You just never know what can go on at any time. You know how climate and stuff been. So I'm not going to hold you guys too long in this video. I'm finna get to the article. I just want to say that this article is going to be quite, not really interesting or surprising, because it's already been shown in our face and proven that this guy literally don't care about ending the war with Ukraine. He wants them to suffer. He probably really going to end the war with Ukraine if they take away their military. And even with that, he most likely won't end the war. He probably just let them suffer even more. He just probably wants Ukraine all to himself, literally. So he probably wants Ukraine to get rid of this military, and then he continue to attack. NATO tries to get involved, but by the time they do, it's too late, and it's just a mess. Either he get all of Ukraine, NATO don't really help out anymore. The United States kind of back, so they don't be another potential target. He threatened to use a nuclear weapon on this country, or on the United States or something like that. There's a lot of possibilities can happen. Low chance, but I would not rule out if Ukraine ever got rid of their military, if they just tired of this war, and it's affecting NATO stock and the United States stock. If we keep sending weapons and fighter jets and stuff over to Ukraine, it's gonna start messing with our what we have stocked up, and Russia probably want that to happen. So let's say he wins the war Ukraine, or he just lashed out on Ukraine or something like that. Then other NATO countries and the United States don't have much to defend themselves for like backup and stuff like that, and he have all that he need, stuff like that. So let me go ahead and read this. Sorry about the lighting for you guys. I'm trying to like fix that. Yeah, sorry about the lighting, guys. It's just this area where I'm at don't have like the best lighting, but with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this little article. So as you guys can see, this is being reported by CNN World News. Again, this is being reported by CNN World News. This is the video. I'm not going to play out loud because I do not want to get copyrighted. So, but it says right here, it's very, very short. But it says, Rubio says U.S. is unsure if Russia is serious about ending Ukraine war. Again, Rubio says U.S. is unsure if Russia is serious about ending Ukraine war. You go down here, the description says U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Saturday Washington would strive to seek a peace deal in Ukraine, but was unsure if Moscow really wanted to end the fighting. Again, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said on Saturday Washington would strive to seek a peace deal in Ukraine, but was unsure if Moscow. Hold on. Man, I lost that, guy. Sorry about that. Yeah, I totally lost that. Hold on, let me see if I can fix this. All right, I fixed it, guys. Sorry about that. What was I? But was unsure if Moscow really wanted to end the fighting. All right, you and I both know Russia do not want to end the fighting. Vladimir Putin probably thinks it's funny. He's just gonna continue the war with Ukraine until he felt like his stock is going down. But if he feel like his stock is going drastically down, I'm pretty sure it is going drastically down. But at the same time, it can't. It should. It probably ain't going down. As long as he probably getting other weapons from China or from Iran secretly. I think there was a situation at one of the meetings that happened a few years ago, and one of the countries said that I think it was the United States, that China was secretly giving Russia weapons and stuff like that, and China said the United States didn't know what they were talking about. It was something like that, or it could not have been the United States. It could have been another country. Either or, a situation like that happened, and you see this kind of like a he say she say type of thing. Now, if Russia is getting weapons from these other countries that I highly think they is, then that's just another problem, because we know China has billions and billions of people. They probably can start a war, let's say with Taiwan or South Korea, and they can just pop up anywhere and start building, missile factories and stuff like that, and just continue the war on and on and on and on. And Taiwan or South Korea could suffer, or any other country. If China ever tries to go after us, most targets probably will be California or Hawaii, and maybe Washington State. I would not rule out Alaska either. Now, Russia would probably come out the United States. It'd probably be Alaska, or it'll probably be somewhere here on the East Coast, from Florida to Maine. I'm pretty sure the hottest targets if Russia ever tried to attack the United States will possibly be New York, North Carolina, Florida. I will say South Carolina too, Virginia, DC definitely. So it's just New Jersey. It's just a lot of things that go into play probably with that. And I live in a military town. Like, the nearest base is like 5 minutes from my house. The nearest gate to a base is 5 minutes from my house. So you kind of have to watch out if you guys live in military cities, towns, or wherever. If you live by a military base that's within like an hour or so or two away from you, you still got to watch out for that, because any attack like that from like an aerial attack can cause some damage, especially if it's a nuclear weapon. States and states, it's like one nuclear designation. Let's say it happened here in North Carolina. You folks in Virginia, West Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, potentially Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, you guys definitely is going to probably feel the impact from that. So it's just largely going to have to watch out. South Carolina, I've been having 3 minor earthquakes, I think, on this coastal part in less than a week. So you guys really going to have to watch out for that. Even here in North Carolina, going to have to watch out for earthquakes, and because they're concerned about a big one coming. It could happen, and if it happens in the same spot in South Carolina, you folks in Georgia, possibly Alabama, parts of Florida, definitely here in North Carolina, is definitely going to feel that earthquake. You're probably going to have to watch out too, because who knows, it could cause a tsunami. You probably don't hear tsunamis too much happen in the United States, especially in on the Atlantic side. But hey, these folks that live on the coastal part of like Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. I live here on the coastal part of North Carolina. The Atlantic Ocean is like right there. Virginia, all the way up the east coast of Maine, probably even up to Canada, the coastal part of Canada, for the eastern half. You could get hit by the tsunami, so anything can happen. You gotta watch out for this hurricane season too, because it might be a really active hurricane season. Last year, no hurricanes made landfall on the United States for the East Coast that I remember of. But other than that, I think it was more like getting this outer band, some wind, some rain, probably some flooding here and there. So you guys really just kind of be vigilant this hurricane season, which starts June 1st and run through November 30th, if I'm not mistaken. And we also know the situation that's been happening in the Outer Banks. Mahomes is easily able to collapse out in the Outer Banks, which is like 2-3 hours away from me. So yeah, so I hope you guys are recovering from, you know, the bad winter storm that went through Texas all the way up to the Northeast, and you folks that's here in North Carolina that was impacted, all 100 counties in North Carolina that was impacted by this winter storm that happened about 2 weeks ago, especially here in coastal North Carolina, where some people retch up to over a foot of snow, so including my area. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm pretty sure that was a once in a lifetime event, well, once in every, let's say, 3 decades or something like that, that's going to happen. Because even when we do get snow, it's more like an inch or two, maybe 3. Last year we got up to 5 inches, but this year it was just an all-out historic snowstorm. Like, it was crazy blizzard conditions for most of eastern North Carolina. This was a crazy event. I enjoyed the snow. Everything's warming up now. There's still snow in the parking lots, but that's because they like piled up together, if I'm not mistaken. Some crews from up north, the parts of the south have to get crews from up north, their snow plows to help, you know, clear our roads and stuff like that. I know my area was under a curfew from, I think, 6 a.m. or no, 6:30 p.m. to 6 a.m. every day until further notice. I think that was lasted for like 2 or 3 days, and then, you know, they tell you to be cautious because the road still was not 100% good at all. It was still people sliding, accidents, stuff like that. But for the most part, all the snow is gone for most areas here in North Carolina, and things are running smoothly. We are warming up into the 70s, almost 80-degree weather. So yeah, so with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified each and every time I upload a new video. It's your boy Running right here, out.